How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. Hope you all are doing great wherever you are. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, and all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Petal. Hello, 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 my friends. It's been a couple of days. I haven't been able to say hi to you. So, let me just say hello to my friends in the chat who are here at the moment. And oh my goodness, let's see who is here. Black Queen is here. Hello, Black Queen. And Michael Miller is here. And yes, we'll get to Andrew and his mess and all of that mess as well. Yeah, there's been a whole lot going on. And Karen M, our awesome moderator, is here, and Marvel, awesome 2 Cents crew member. And also Karen M is also 2 Cents crew member. And Rosa and Alma are 2 Cents crew member as well. Catherine is here with Rosa. And who else is here? Oh, hi, Ann Lewis is here. Hello, hello. And Lottie is here. Awesome 2 Cents crews in the house. Yes, we got you, Angela. And Church Nelly, our awesome moderator, is here. And 2 Cents crew member. Here we go. Church Nelly. And who else is in the chat? Oh, Kenitha is here. Hello, Kenitha. How are you? Kenitha is here. Yes, I totally get that. Kenitha, we'll get to the Harry and Meghan and all that mess in a minute. But let's see. Lorna, 2 Cents crew member. Lorna is here. Hello, Lorna. And Verda is here. Hello, Verda. And all our other friends, I think I said Annie before, but Annie, hey, is saying hello to everyone. And I see Lydia was here, but I think Lydia went off because I think she may be joining us later or on replay because I was here a minute ago and think I saw her, but I don't see her anymore, but that's okay. Whatever she's doing, she may return or she'll catch it on the replay, but we'll miss her if she's not here. But anyways, hello, hello, hello to all of you, my friends. Again, I hope you guys had a great time, and a lot's been happening, and our faves are, they were under a tree until yesterday, and then of course, there are pictures of them. Obviously, I'm sure other people have seen them. They were out at a restaurant, and of course, they were papped. I mean, there are certain places in Hollywood, if you go to, you are going to get papped. Again, it's award season, so there are a lot of industry meetings and industry lunches and dinners, so that is absolutely expected. There are certain places in LA that are pap magnets, and this is one of those places that they have these high powered lunches and stuff. And because I know, restaurants and stuff like this, they're very much into no photography and all of that stuff. And even though the photos were outside, I still stay away. One, because it's pap, and two, it's not an official engagement, it's not an official thing, so I tend to stay away from those, even though I know that this would be a place where if they went to a restaurant, they would know that they would get pap. It's one of those things, because again, there are certain places in LA where that's where the industry bigwigs and the industry celebrities and people, producers and directors and stuff, they congregate at these places, and paps will be there. It's just one of those things. So that's where they were yesterday, last night, looking happy, and it looked like they were meeting with another couple. So kudos for them. They look happy and content. And obviously last night, we know, and it's so weird, it's like I posted about this on our community page, and I did not even make it to 9 p.m. I fell asleep. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I fell asleep at 10 or something like that. I don't know. I definitely did not make it to 11:30. And, because I was gonna just find it online because I don't have television, so I would have, but I didn't see it until today. So, so Harry on the Late Show, and of course we know that this was pre-taped from the last time he visited Stephen Colbert. And I'm telling you, I've always been advocating for Harry to have his own show, his own talk show. He is just good at this. And I love the banter with him and Stephen Colbert. I posted a link to it. The Late Show have a YouTube site, so a YouTube channel. So I posted a link in our community page. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, definitely see it there. But I love their banter. I absolutely, absolutely love it. They just feed off of each other so well. Harry could, like, be Steven's wingman or something, because they have like this. He has this, in some of ways, that has this deadpan British humor that is just hilarious, and they both do it, and they both do it so well. And so I absolutely. So I hope that the majority of you have had a chance to watch it. It is funny. It is just like, and some of the things they talked about. Harry's favorite smell, Meghan. And this is very, it's so funny because, we talk about the things when you read Smear. When you read Spare, one of the things that triggers Harry's memories, it triggers a lot for him, is scent. Scent is a big, it's like a third character or fourth character in the book, because a lot of his memory and a lot of how he relates to people is their scent. He talks about, especially his mom, her smell, and even on his, when he opened that Elizabeth Arden lip cream, the thing that transported him back to his mom, thinking his mom, was the smell of it. And he talked about, the queen, going in to give the queen a kiss and remembering her smell. And so the smell is like a character, its own character in Spare. And so it's not, so when they asked that, it was like, yeah. And it's so funny. I was trying to capture the look of Harry's face when because he thought for a moment, and you could see the smile, this naughty smile on his face. It's like, oh, penny for your thought there, Harry. I would love to know what that thought was. You can see he can't hide his emotions. It's all on, people's like, he wears it on his sleeve. No, he wears it full flush on his face. It's just like, he can't hide. How he feels is how he feels in a moment. And, if you watch Harry long enough, you'll see he'll go through like a million emotions in a minute. He's like a child. He has no filter. And so and so it's very funny when he said his wife, and it was just like, oh, the audience was like, oh. And that throws some haters, that they are probably like throwing a few things across the room, because they, in their mind, Harry and Meghan are getting a divorce or something. It's ridiculous. But but this was, it was very, I thought it was really cool and cute, and I was like, Harry. But again, scent is a big deal for him. And so and that is that thing that connects him to a lot of, even when he went to the therapist, and he asked her, he told her that he just hasn't been able to cry, and if she can help him cry. One of the things that he brought to his session was Princess Diana's favorite perfume, that she got the name from one of Princess Diana's sisters. And he brought it and he opened it. And that is the thing that really allowed him to be able to remember his mom, because he obviously we remember that he forgot. He, didn't really have many memories, if at all, of her, actually his memories of her. And so her scent, the perfume, was the thing that really helped him. And so again, scent is a big deal for him, which is fantastic. And another thing, I love this part when he asked Harry, aisle or window. Harry was like, cockpit. I was like, you go. And they did a toast to it and everything. And I love that, because again, Harry's a pilot, an Apache pilot. So of course you have control when you are in the cockpit. And so I was like, you go, Harry. Totally flexing. I love it. I absolutely, absolutely love that. Let's see. I keep looking at my broadcast thing there. I think I'm a little paranoid, because a couple of days ago when I tried to record, I did a whole hour and a half of recording one of these podcasts, and realized at the end when I went to turn it off that I actually never did turn it on. So nothing was recorded. I thought I was going to die. I put my head under my pillow. I was like, no. So I keep looking up to make sure it's live. But anyway, back to Harry. I also love this when Stephen asked him to describe to describe the rest of his life in 5 words. And his words were freedom, happiness, clarity, space, and love. I absolutely, absolutely love that. And oh, I forgot to bring in the one where he talks about the music. The music is about something about loving for the rest of your life or something like that. But it's kind of like a reggae. It seemed like a reggae artist that I'd never heard of, but I forgot to bring it in. And so there you go. I posted it. I think I posted it in the show in the community page. So hopefully I did in the community page. So you can always go over there and get it. But I just thought it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this. I really look forward to either Harry having a podcast or having like a, having a talk show or something, because he's just so good at it. And for me, I'm like, this is perfect. I love it. It'll be a waste if he doesn't do it. I mean, this is my dream for Harry. He probably has no interest in this whatsoever, but it's my dream for Prince Harry that he has he has a show. So I'm going to put this on pause for just 1 second. I just want to make sure that I turned off my stove. All of a sudden I'm thinking, wait a minute, did I turn off my stove? So I'm just going to put a little bit of music on for 1 second and just go check. So I will be right back. Okay, yes, I did. I don't know. Today is my day of being paranoid. I thought I smelled something. I was like, did I turn off my stove? But anyways, I just want to get a sense. I mean, did you guys get to watch it? What did you think? I would love to see. So I'm just gonna go into the chat for a second and see what you guys thought about Colbert and Harry, because I absolutely loved it. And so if you hadn't seen it, definitely go into our community page, and the link is there to the YouTube channel, or you can just go on the Late Show's YouTube channel and it's there as well. So again, I really just absolutely love Harry's relationship with Stephen Colbert. So anyways, let's see. Marcia says, I'm so glad I'm off today to see you. Referred your page to a content creator on TikTok. Oh, you talking about me? Oh, if it is, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm assuming, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it if that's what you're talking about. So yeah, thanks. I appreciate any kind of publicity that is there. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Mackenzie says nobody does a photo like the Sussexes. Or I'm assuming you're talking about their photos last night. Yes, nobody does. Let's see. Who else is talking about Stephen Colbert? Or maybe everyone is on the other stuff that's going on on Shutter Island. But let's see. Well, okay. No one really cares about Stephen Colbert. Maybe we'll get back to that in a second. Everyone is on oh, someone else cares. Black Queen says, I bet the trash media will try to spin the skit part when Colbert said he's helping Harry to be seen and not be alone. Of course. I mean, they've spun that a 50 million ways already. Though Colbert is joking. Of course. I mean, they will spin anything. It doesn't matter. They'll spin anything to a negative. Let's see. Terry says, hope Charles takes note. Harry has freedom, happiness, clarity, space, and love. Something they will never know. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Those are the things that Harry chose. And that's his life. It's like he's free, he's happy, he has clarity, he has space and love. And so that is something, they were all trying to deny him. And he has it. And there are people in our lives sometimes when good things are happening, they don't like it because it shows up that they maybe are not, Mackenzie says, I didn't get to, but will this evening. I love rewatching his interview with James Corden too. Yes, that is very funny. That's the one that has about 30 million views on that one. So yeah, it's a really, really, really cool. Let's see. J-Matt says, loved it. He looks so happy and content. Yeah, and again, this was filmed in January when he was promoting Spare. So yeah, very happy, very content, very loved up. So, we can only pray that is where, that continues forever, that our faves stay in that space. But again, I hope this again is my dream for him that he that he gets his own show. He will be amazing. Joy says Harry's very good with the 15 was very good with the 15 questions, but I knew he would be. There is something about him the rest of the royal family doesn't have. Yeah, he's spontaneous, he's there, he's present, he is smart, he's not awkward and weird. He's just normal guy who is just really so much better than anybody on that island gives him credit for, still to this day. And so, their thing is like, he's only has what he has because he's a royal. I'm like, no, Harry has what he has because he's actually really good at what he does, so yeah. Janice says, Harry is funny as usual. Love it. Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Okay, so actually somebody else. Angela says, Stephen is a good interview. He really is. He really, really is. And he connects with Harry in a way that most people don't. And I just love that. I love the way how they can banter going back and forth and make fun of each other and be serious in moments. And I really love that. I love it. I love their dynamic. So yeah. So anyway, so moving on from this, Karma is still paying a visit to those on Shutter Island. I see Jeremy Clarkson, apparently, according to Variety, says that Jeremy Clarkson, who wants to be a millionaire, to end next season. So apparently, whatever they're shooting now, because they're under contract, I guess they're under contract to finish it up. And it's going to end next season. But after whatever they're taping this season, it's not going forward with him, apparently. But we've heard this before. His other show, they claimed that it was ending, and that's not the case at all. His show on Amazon, I guess, Amazon Prime or wherever it is, I don't know. There was a claim that it was ending, but that's not the case. So according to Variety, this is where apparently ITV was saying that Jeremy Clarkson, who wants to be a millionaire, to end next season. No future commitments for more work, says ITV boss. I would put at this time at the end of it, that there, because, as with everything in the UK, they claim this, and then later on, when they think the public forgets about it, they go right back to doing that, exactly that. But Variety says ITV boss Carolyn McCall tells Variety that the forthcoming season of the game show, which is currently in production, will be Jeremy Clarkson's final foray as host. The Grand Tour presenter has been at the center of a media firestorm over his December column in the British tabloid Sun. In the piece, which is currently being investigated by the British media regulator, IPSO, Clarkson said and all that nasty stuff he says about the Duchess of Meghan, which I'm not going to repeat. But again, the ITV, there has been call from the beginning for ITV to fire him. And they kept saying, oh, no, he doesn't literally work for ITV. We just, I guess they just air it or whatever. And they were giving all these excuses. And now they're like, oh, well, this will be the final foray. This will be the final season of it. I'll see that when, if that actually comes true, because, they could be still responding to apparently some celebrities didn't want to go on the show with him, whatever. And the fact that the IPSO is investigating. But as we all know, the IPSO will do nothing. And then don't be surprised if ITV changes its mind when the IPSO does nothing, as they normally do. So this, again, put at this time at the end of that, I don't believe any of this stuff at all, because we've seen them. And people, again, it's kind of like Danny Baker from the BBC, who was fired when he referred to Archie as a monkey. And BBC, the moment that that died down and the outrage was died down, BBC promptly rehired him. So we've seen this mess before. This is nothing new. We have Prince Andrew and his mess ongoing. I mean, this is how the British press and the British people are. So again, put at this time, I would believe that when I see it. Grain of salt, drink, guzzle a grain of salt when you see this. Anyway, so moving on. So this has been happening the last few days. King Charles, there's this big brouhaha in the UK about King Charles wading into the Brexit mess and meeting Ursula von der Leyen, who is the commissioner, the European commissioner, and they were, as you can see at the bottom, it says EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen requested meeting with King Charles. European Commission President met with the monarch in Windsor today after signing on a Brexit deal. So there's this whole big nonsense about the Brexit deal happening, and that Northern Ireland could now basically, I guess, the EU market is not open to Northern Ireland. I mean, this whole thing. None of this needed to happen if they had not voted for Brexit. I mean, this whole, and now I guess British people, Northern Ireland is supposed to be like excited because of this new revelation that, oh, the EU is now open. And it's just this whole big mess that should not have happened in the first place. But to sign off on this whole big thing, she apparently, well, at first it was said that, oh, it was 10 Downing Street, the prime minister who's the one that made the decision for her to meet the king. And then Buckingham Palace was like, oh, no, that was Buckingham Palace's stance. It was like, oh, it was something that it was 10 Downing Street, the prime minister wanted this to happen. And then Downing Street was like, oh, no, it was fundamentally the decision of the king. And then when nobody would buy it, all of a sudden it's the EU's fault, as I just read. The EU, Ursula von der Leyen requested a meeting with the king. Nobody wanted to take in the UK, wanted to sit there and be the man to take responsibility for the fact that, according to the British, the royal family are not supposed to wade into politics and are definitely not into this Brexit mess. Which we know is total nonsense because the royal family have always been a part of involved in in politics. And so, I mean, my thing is like, I'm hoping that there is no one in the UK this stupid in the year of our Lord 2023 to be believing that the royal family is not involved in politics. I mean, but apparently there's this outrage that, Charles is it was a big mistake for him to do it. And history is not going to be kind to him. And I was like, history? I mean, nobody cares because I'm hoping nobody buys this nonsense that the royal family is apolitical. And so I've been like, even on Twitter, for some people tweet, I'm like, this is nonsense. The royal family have always been a part of politics, but apparently this hasn't been going down well with the press. It's not been going around well, but I guess his supporters that he has waded into politics again. And then on top of that, their BBC is doing a drama series about Jimmy Kimmel. Not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Savile. Yes, King Charles's bestie, who was a rapist pedophile and was into necrophilia, apparently. And it was just all of this mess. And we know all this, the stuff that happened on the Jersey Island, where he, this orphanage there, where he was part of raping children over there. And so they are casting for that. So all of this is happening, and this is, well, and especially the Brexit mess has been going on for the last couple of days. So of course, what does King Charles do when he has negative coverage? We saw, I mean, how low he can go when he, when that whole mess happened, when he took money from what was it, the what is it, this Osama bin Laden's family, when he took money from them, and also took money from these well, not Saudis, but Qatari family. It's like he took all this money in a bag, and this shopping in a shopping bag, and basically took all these euros and cash in the shopping bag. And all of this time this stuff was happening, what did he do? He used his own grandchildren, baby Lily and baby Archie, to cover up and for people to distract people from the fact that he is a crook. It's like, at least, that's my thing, and that's my take on what he did, even though the Charity Commission was like, oh, no, they did nothing wrong. Everything was by the book, even though he took a whole bunch, he took millions in cash in a shopping bag, and had a staff counting euros, yeah. And so in order to hide, he threw his babies in under a bus in order for him to hide behind. So there is no level to which this man will sink. There's literally no level. So then when I saw this popped up today, of course he would do that. Of course. I mean, how many times has he thrown Harry and Meghan under a bus? How many times has he thrown his own son, Harry, under a bus? You know what I mean? So none of this is shocking in any sense of the word. And frankly, not only is it not shocking, we have talked about this. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. You have to believe it. When people tell you, when people show you that they are not here for you, when people show you that your life does not matter to them, when people show you all that stuff, you gotta believe them. And I feel like this is a place where Harry and Meghan are. It's not say Meghan. And Meghan is like, when her father and her family, were started acting up, she just, she cut them off. She was just like, I'm putting that up. You're not going to do that and get away with it. And so I kind of feel like this is a place where Harry is right now with his family, because I know, he's talked about wanting a reconciliation, wanting to reconcile with his family and all of that stuff. And, he is an optimist. He is an absolute optimist in every sense of the word. But the thing is that you have to understand, like, these are the people that you want to have a relationship. These are the people that you're optimistic about having a relationship with, And so when I saw this popped up today, first of all, I guess, whether, I don't know who wrote it first, whether it was Scobie's article or the Sun or whomever, but they've obviously been briefed. The palace obviously briefed people with this information. So it's not just like, a source, but the fact that Scobie and the Sun have the same story at the same time, and I haven't read the Sun story, I've only read Scobie's, but it's around the same thing. And so somebody in the palace briefed this, and again, as a distraction. But even with that, the story, the whole thing is a cruel punishment. The inside story of King Charles's eviction of Harry and Meghan. The couple have just weeks to clear out their Windsor home, and Charles has already offered the keys to Andrew. And the first line of this, for some reason, is cut off, so I'm just going to read it from my phone. It says, but, talks about this, first of all, the article talks about, how the Sussexes came to the house, and how they came to be at Frogmore, and, the fact that they paid off, they've paid off the cost for whatever the taxpayer, the 2.4 million that the taxpayers funded, and they paid that off, and then they paid money up front so that they could lease, they have a multi-year lease on this property. And so it starts with at least this part, this clip from it that I took. It says, but now, less than 3 years into that lease, less than 3 years into that long-term lease, Prince Harry has been dealt a crushing blow by his father, King Charles. And King Charles announced he is evicting the family from their Windsor property, a decision made shortly after the revealing memoir, Spare, released in January. At a time when communication between Harry and his family has reached an all-time low, further details provided to the couple by the institution have been scant. The property, they were told, is needed for someone else. Its news source tells me that he has left Harry and Meghan. Its news source tells me that has left Harry and Meghan stunned, and at least 2 members of the royal family appalled. That someone else now has been revealed as Prince Andrew, the late Queen's disgraced son, who was stripped of his royal title and patronages amid underage sex abuse allegations by Jeffrey Epstein's survivor, Virginia Giuffre, which the prince has denied, by the way, and he was last week offered the keys to Frogmore by King Charles after being warned he must downsize from his Royal Lodge mansion by August. And again, the idea, I mean, and I appreciate Scobie writing and all of that stuff, but shocked and stunned would not be the thing that I would think Harry and Meghan would be. Harry literally just wrote a 400-page book about the appalling treatment and the disgusting behavior by Charles, William, and the rest of the royal family and their royal household. He wrote a whole book, 400 something pages. He has a whole 400 and something didn't even make the book, including information that he said he would never want to get out, He wrote, him and Meghan just did a whole 6-part docu-series about the awfulness of the royal family and especially their relationship with the British press and how they've been treated in the royal family. They did an Oprah interview. Prince Harry did the Me You Can't See documentary. Harry did all, 3 interviews, 2 interviews, whatever, talking about the awfulness and how the royal family has treated him, especially Charles and William. So the idea that Harry and Meghan would be stunned about this and shocked and all of it, that is nonsense. That is plain and utter nonsense. One just has to remember how they were treated, a few months ago when Queen Betty passed, how they were treated there. In all the ways that Charles and his ilks went out of their way to humiliate them. So I just think this is nonsense. This is plain and utter nonsense that they're shocked and surprised and, oh my gosh, they were left stunned. Is Charles cruel? Yes, Charles has always been cruel. Is he petty? Yes, he's always been petty. I think if your own father takes away your security so that you can be unalived with your wife and months-old child, if he couldn't do that, then this is nothing. This is piece of cake compared to taking away your security and then letting the world know where you are so they can unalive you. You know what I mean? And his people being a part of Ravek, who took away that security. And so the very idea that, again, I appreciate Scobie, but this is nonsense. This is plain and utter nonsense about them being shocked. And if you're shocked, if you are Harry and Meghan and this shocks you, there is something wrong with your idea of what love is and what family is and people being around people who accept you and stuff, because this is, again, he just wrote a whole book that is still #1 in the world about this very thing, So no, am I shocked that no, this is the least surprise. I'm shocked he hasn't done it. He didn't do it before. I'm shocked he hasn't pulled which is what Meghan told us is what they want to do since Oprah. So I'm shocked he hasn't made that official yet, where he takes away. And again, he doesn't give Lily and Archie their, prince and princess title. They already have it. That's what the law is. So I'm shocked he hasn't officially taken it away as yet, because that's where this is going, so. And also take away the Duke and Duchess title. I mean, this man is petty as all heck. He is nasty. He is petty. He is weak. He's crook in every step of the way. And of course he's going to give it to Andrew. Of course. I mean, again, my thing with Andrew and Charles is, if you can accept Charles, then Andrew is no problem. Because Charles and Andrew are one and the same. Again, one of the reasons for this whole nonsense distraction is they're casting the show about Charles's bestie, Jimmy Savile. So let's distract, shall we? Let's call in our people. They've been going at him recently. And, again, when Charles needs to get out of the hot seat, he will find someone to throw under a bus. And he will find someone to take the heat off him. And that's usually his son. And again, he has gone as low as to using his own grandchildren. And part of Scobie's article, he's talking about, it's really wild now, because that, what will that mean for, now that he's taken a house, what does that mean for Archie and Lily ever, visiting? I was like, Charles is showing in every step of the way he doesn't care about Harry. He never has. He doesn't care about Lily and Archie. He doesn't care about Meghan. He is proof. I mean, look at what he did again when Queen Betty kicked the bucket. That's all you need to remember. Even in the book, and Harry doesn't say specifically what his father said, why he had to pull him up and say, don't you ever speak about my wife in that way, when Charles was saying, we don't want her to come to Balmoral when Queen Betty kicked the bucket. Charles doesn't care. The royal family are not hiding who they are. The problem is people refusing to believe them when they show us who they are. They have been showing you all the time, but somehow, including Harry, wanting to believe that they are better than this. They are not. They are not better. This is who they are. And hopefully with this going public, and again, this is no surprise to anybody. And I hope no squatty is surprised by any of this mess. And frankly, my thing is, this is a good thing. The way I look at this is the best thing that could happen. Because honestly, in my book, and again, that's just my book, Harry needs to let it go. He needs to let go. You cannot hold on to toxic people and think you can have a relationship with them. They are not here for you. They don't love you. They don't care. And this for me is a blessing in disguise. Maybe this is the thing that will help Harry to let it go. It's like, let it go. Let it go. Harry, let him go. They don't want to have a relationship. This is very, very clear, and again, he is very, Harry is he's just an eternal optimist. It's just who he is. And so he will always hope that they are better and that they can be better than who they are. But I'm sorry, dude, your family ain't better. This is who they are. They're not going to change. At 70, whatever Charles is now, they're not changing. And he is showing in no uncertain terms that they're not going to change. They have no intentions of changing. Why? Because their people want them this way. I mean, the press has been advocating for him to give Harry the boot forever. Now he's finally given them what they want. He's finally paid up the bill so that they would stop attacking him. So it just, again, this for me, how I look at this is a blessing in disguise. Because, if they go, I respect them. But maybe this is the thing that would be the straw that breaks the camel back, where Harry and Meghan would be like, my kid at home doing my kid's birthday in Montecito is more important than this person's coronation that nobody asked for. So we will see what choices they make. But Andrew apparently is not feeling the whole move from my 30 room mansion to a, I don't know how many rooms Harry and Meghan have, I don't remember, but 5 bedrooms or whatever I think it had. Home Frog, tiny compared to his 30 room home. Frogmore is like a little shack. So Andrew ain't feeling all that. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens. But again, King Charles, I'm telling you, let it go, Harry. Let it go. And again, we all go through our own process when it comes to letting go. Again, it's family and it's complicated, and your heart loves who it loves. You know what I mean? And I totally get that. But, maybe this is the thing. But anyways, and apparently, obviously, this was announced, or at least reported on last year sometime, that it says, the part of the article also, it says, it's not the first time the future of Frogmore Cottage had been discussed without Harry present. Last summer, Prince William briefly had eye on his brother's 7-bedroom home before choosing the nearby Adelaide cottage for his family. A source said William had questions about whether Harry and Meghan's home would be an option. The optics would have been terrible, though, they added, and a Kensington Palace spokesperson has been contacted for comment. Yeah, I mean, of course, whatever Harry has, I mean, that cottage have been sitting there, dilapidated. Of course, the narrative at the time was that the Queen gave it to Harry and Meghan as a wedding present, which was a complete lie. That was not a wedding present at all. It was, as we read in Spare, it was Nottingham Cottage was falling down. One, it was too small, and also there were so many repairs that it was literally falling down around them. And they desperately asked the palace for a different home, a different house. And the palace offered them, they said houses that were too grand and too big. And so in desperation, they went to the Queen for help. And she said, well, there is, and I guess they told her what was offered, and she said, well, there is Frogmore Cottage, but it's a building site right now because it was abandoned for all these years, and they're doing renovations on it, and go by and see what you think. Harry and Meghan went by the same day and fell in love with the dilapidated shack, and they're like, yeah, we'll take it. They renovated it, made it now into a beautiful home. And of course, now that the Sussexes have done the hard work, of course William wants it. Because whatever Harry has, William wants. He doesn't want to do the hard work, obviously. But he wants to take, go. So if you see William, at some point in the future, all of a sudden has Frogmore Cottage, don't be shocked at all. Because this may be the way in, they offered it to Andrew, but he doesn't want it. And we didn't want Frogmore to remain empty and not being used, in spite of their having tons of palaces that Charles inherited that are literally empty at the moment. So empty that this Hollywood couple recently moved into St. James Palace. That's how empty these palaces are, and homes that Charles inherited. But no, it's about let Harry and Meghan's home, that the only place in the UK they come and have security. Let's not let that get empty. Let's give it to Andrew and have him say no, and then William comes in. It's like, oh, of course he has to take it because we don't want it to stay empty. Of course. Don't be shocked. So it just, I'm telling you, these people are saying, it is so who they are. It is so who they are. And so again, I'm like, look, this is a blessing in disguise for Harry. Maybe this is the thing that's going to help him to let go of this mess of a family. I mean, another thing that, that with this whole thing is, one, cutting off Harry from a home in the UK. I mean, Harry could always buy another home in the UK if they want to. But cutting off his domicile being in the UK, that means he can no longer, represent the king. You know how they do whatever they call that thing when they represent the king if he, he's sick or if he is out of the country, whatever. They appoint, I think, what is it? Counselors of state, I think they're called. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's counselor of state it is called, where they can represent. I think there are 4 or 5 of them in the royal family that can represent the king if he would take sick or if he leaves the country or whatever. So I think Anne and Edward and William, and I think Beatrice is also, and also Harry is also part of that. So for me, part of that is cutting that off. They don't, they don't want to come out and say, oh no, we don't want him. But let's pretend that we're just adding 2 other people so that we don't have to do that. But let's cut off his place of, his residence in the UK. So then they could claim, well, he no longer lives in the UK, so he does not have to be a councillor of state. Also, that will also affect his security claims as well. Now he doesn't have a place in the UK. So, well, I guess he's not going to become a, so he doesn't really need security. Man, again, Harry can always buy a place if he wants to. But, I mean, again, let it go, Harry. Just let it go. And maybe I'm just too simplistic, in the sense of this is his home, his children. He has to think of his children's legacy. They are still part of the royal family, even though, the royals are like, oh, they are much loved. That's lies. We know that is a lie, But so there are a lot of reasons why Harry is probably still holding on, apart from the fact that he still loves them. In spite of the wretches that they are, he still loves them. But again, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, But, in terms of, say, they also said that Harry and Meghan at first they only gave them weeks to pack up, and now they gave them until after the coronation. But if we remember back in the Harry and Meghan docuseries, these are images from there where they were packing up Frogmore Cottage. They're their boxes packing up. We also know when they went back for the Jubilee. I mean, they packed up a whole bunch of stuff, including a swing, that they packed up a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, the press has been reporting for even when Eugenie and Jack moved in, that the Sussexes packed up their stuff and moved their stuff. So I'm like, well, how much more stuff do they have at Frogmore? To be like, oh, they have to now pack up their stuff. And again, with the presses, they write these things in a way, the way they do it, so they think they are, to insult and embarrass the Sussexes. But again, the other Sussexes with their boxes, tons of boxes, packing up Frogmore. So I frankly don't think they have a lot of stuff at Frogmore. Probably only basic stuff for when they go to stay, and that they have there. But again, let's insult the Sussexes. But again, here are photos in their Harry and Meghan docuseries of them already packed up their stuff. So, but again, we're sure that they're shocked and stunned and sorrowful as they left their, Frogmore is a big house, and it says, but I don't normally put up photos of Harry and Meghan's home in California, but I gotta say, I don't think they're weeping. If I had a choice between Frogmore and Harry and Meghan's home in Montecito, I wonder what I would be weeping over. So I don't think Harry and Meghan are weeping over this at all, in any sense of the word. Would it be disappointing that your father could be this petty and juvenile and just evil? Yes, I'm sure. If that was my father, in spite of what he's done, and I know what he is, it would still hurt, because it's your father, and you, even if there is still a part of you that still wants love from this person. And then they show you in every sense of the word that they are unworthy of that. So I'm sure that it hurts. I'm sure that but I don't think they're stunned, and I don't think they're, I hope no squatty is shocked. But again, for me, I'm looking at this as maybe this is the kick in the butt that needs to be like, let's let these people go. Let's let them go and let them be. And as Harriet, they've already said, I think it was even during the docuseries that, they don't expect that the royal family would apologize, and they don't expect to get a proper, they don't expect to get proper accountability for what was done to them. So Harry said, that's why me and my wife, we're moving on. And I believe that's where they are. They're moving on. And, and I hope they've moved on to the point where we will not see them at this coronation that nobody asked for. So anyways, I don't think Harry and Meghan are home sitting there shocked. Maybe enjoying the pool or something. But Better Up posted this today. I was like, Harry, did you write that? It says, repeat after me. I don't want what doesn't want me. And so for me, I'm going to assume I have no evidence of this. But in my mind, Prince Harry wrote this. Repeat after me. I don't want what doesn't want me. Not even who, what. And so I'm going to assume this is Harry's stance. And that's just all my opinion, completely all my opinion. So let me see what you guys are doing. I mean, I know this has been, so I'm going to just see what you guys are saying in the chat about Charles and his nastiness. God, these people are like, I don't even understand how you can be this awful. I don't understand how Harry and Meghan came up with, it just ended up with the two worst fathers in the world. It's unbelievable how disgusting these people are. Tiger Cub says, if Harry and Meghan need a place in Europe, when they travel, they can get a home in France. We'll welcome them here. I'm telling you, France, Germany, whatever they want to be, I'm sure. And again, just because they're not at Frogmore, I guess Frogmore was the most secure because it already comes with security because it's right there at Windsor Great Park and the Windsor Castle there. So it comes with security since they're not entitled, but they don't have police security in that police with guns security. So that was the safe place for them. And now Charles has a second time in a row taken away a place where his son can have security, basically putting him out there. Again, we had recently where this this officer talked about just the incredible death threats that are especially against Meghan. And to see Charles once again showing who he is by taking away that security that would protect the life of his son, his daughter-in-law, and their infant children. If that doesn't tell you who a person is, I don't know what else will. Because what is the alternative? They get unalived, right? And that is what Charles has once again done. So again, if that doesn't tell you who your daddy is, I don't know what else will. So hopefully Harry learns. Let's see. Black Queen says, she's talking to Church Nelly. They are having a difficult time multitasking. They're over there rejoicing about fake eviction. Yeah, of course. Again, Harry lives in the US. So let's see. Dolores says, Tina and Michelle gave us warning about this family 6 years ago. Nothing stands in their way, not even life. Yeah, I mean, these people are brutal. They are brutal. And I remember, I will always remember, and I have to go find this article. I think it was an article I read where even Rupert Murdoch was warning someone that you don't want to get under the Windsor's bad side. They are not good people. And that was the warning. When Rupert Murdoch is warning you about the Windsors on their bad side, they are not good people. And I have to find where I read that. And I was like, oh my goodness. So needless to say, Harry is definitely on Charles's bad side. And we saw what happened to Princess Diana when she got on the Windsor's bad side. Anne Lewis says Harry lost his mother, but when he was a child, and the scent. Going back to the scent relates to her. Most people can remember loved one from perfumes, flowers, certain seasons, etc. Very true, and Harry's definitely is her scent, and seems scent is a big deal for him. Let's see. BTM Smile says, anyone heard of how Charles has evicted the Sussexes from Frogmore? Disgusting and absolutely upsetting. Again, you could everybody feels differently about how, about this supposed situation. Again, the Sussexes have not, maybe I should caveat this with, the Sussexes has not responded to this. And apparently the Buckingham Palace, or at least Charles, isn't responding to it. But again, this, I mean, you could tell the story was brief. Lie or true, somebody briefed the story as a distraction from what was going on with Charles. So this story came from the palace. Somebody briefed them, and we know they've been known to brief lies before. So this could very well be a lie, but it came from the palace, and it's very clear. Let's see. Traditionally, she's talking to B10. Charles cannot evict someone that refused to renew their lease and moved out after the Queen's funeral. So we knew that their lease, they had a multi-year lease. And so, again, we don't know the full of it because we don't know if Harry and Meghan had said no. This could also be a situation where Harry and Meghan said they're not coming to their coronation. Who knows what the deal is, why they really, apart from distraction, why they released this today. But, again, we know that they were packing up their stuff. Harry and Meghan has been packing up their stuff and moving it out. So, and also Eugenie, who was staying there, is apparently trying to move. So, who knows the full truth of this? But again, it don't look good. It don't look good on Charles. But again, for Harry, this is, for me, the way I look at it, it is a blessing. It is an absolute blessing. And I hope he sees it as such. It's like finally be able to see these people for who they are. Terry says, I hope Charles takes note that Harry has freedom, happiness, clarity, space, and love something. Oh, okay. I think I read this before, Terry, but it's worth repeating that he has the things that Charles does not have in his life. So yeah. Let's see, moving down. Yeah, move down some more. Anne says, I was talking to B10 Powell, Frogmore was not a home. It was a slab of property used by the Windsor employees. An insult to Harry and Meghan, probably the Grey Coat's choice. Harry and Meghan now have a home. King Charles III exiled them is obvious. It definitely was before, I mean, Frogmore, as Harry wrote in his book, again, Frogmore was a choice of theirs. The Queen didn't give it to them as a gift. It was their choice. She told them to go look and see if that's something that would be interesting. She said it was really cool from back in the day, but it was dilapidated. They went and they saw it and they loved it. And that's why they proceeded to renovate it. And the renovation was already underway because she said it's a work site. So they were already started to renovate it, and Harry and Meghan were like, yeah, this would be perfect. So it was their choice. The Queen, I thought she gave them, it was her choice to give that to them. But according to what Harry said, no, that was their choice, and they loved it. And it was at Frogmore, which they loved. So even though it was next to or close to a graveyard, they didn't even mind. They just loved it. And so there you go. Yeah. So let's say something else before we move on. Dolores says, everything the royal family do is planned. Every step they're taking right now with Camilla, years in the planning to get her revenge. Oh, totally. This is totally. And I'm going to segue this into something else I wanted to chat about with Camilla, and talking about, all the things that Camilla did, and, and how her and Charles, to even where she is now, where now they're like, oh, she's going to be called Queen Camilla. This has all been years in the planning. Absolute years in the planning. They lied to the public and lied to the public, and this is how the royal family do. They lie and lie, and lie, and then they start, dropping things and sort of testing it out in the public, just what they're doing with Andrew. You'll see them put him out, and they'll see the outrage, and then they'll pull him back and then push him out again and see the outrage. All of this stuff, even the, oh, we're giving Andrew the key to Frogmore. It's all putting him out there and putting him out there and putting him out there and testing it and testing. What they're doing is wearing down the public, until eventually Andrew would be back within the royal fold and doing royal engagements. This is what they do. It's exactly the path of with Camilla, that they did with Camilla. And it's funny with Camilla, because one of the things that, even with, say, you could even say with Harry, because, Harry and Meghan ending up at Frogmore, it was it was an offering from the Queen. The Queen, gave them permission to go look at the site, and then said, okay, and they liked it. And she's like, okay, you can have it, or you can at least use it. And so this was something that the Queen, it was between them and the Queen. She allowed it. She approved them having it and renovating and having it as their home. And yet we're seeing Charles doing the same thing. He is, whenever the Queen, approves something, Charles come behind and is like, no, I'm taking it away. You see, you see the same thing when, well, let's go into this and we'll talk about this more. The thing that, in terms of all the ways that you see where Prince Charles, whenever the Queen says something, Charles will come in and completely do the opposite. And one of the things that I've talked about on this platform, on this podcast before, because we've looked at this passage before, is how even, and you could see from his writing in the Jonathan Dimbleby's book, about the Queen and about King Charles, about, basically calling her a cold fish. I mean, not that he was wrong, but the way in which he wrote about it. And then when I found out about Michael, I think it's Michael Ross, Malcolm Ross, actually, one of the Queen's courtiers who went to work for Charles. And when I read about how King Charles's behavior towards the Queen and how he influences staff behavior towards the Queen, one of the things that was very clear to me is that no matter what the British press says, and no matter how he pretends, that Charles doesn't really have much respect for the Queen at all. He doesn't have much respect for her. And, in spite of, oh, Mama, and how much we respect you and you are the sovereign, all this nonsense, whenever it's a jubilee and he puts out those statements, it's nonsense, because it's like his actions when the Queen does something really shows he doesn't really respect her. And so we looked at this passage before, from Sally Biddell's book, because she wrote this book about Prince Charles. And one of the things that happened, Malcolm Ross, again, he was one of the Queen's courtiers who went to work for Charles for a short period of time and was appalled at what he saw there. And it says from the first part, Ross was taken aback at Michael Pete that Michael Pete offered no protection from Prince Charles, and even worse, that the private secretary has seemed to turn on the Queen. In a meeting shortly after Ross's arrival, Pete denigrated Buckingham Palace advisors, calling them dinosaurs and old has-beens. Ross couldn't restrain himself. He said he would leave the room if such discourtesy continued. In several meetings, Ross did walk out when the conversation turned critical of the monarch's household. Ross concluded that this was Charles's view, and Michael Pete was a clone of Prince Charles. And if the prince said, "Oh God, what is mommy up to?" Pete would adopt the same view in his own language. After nearly 2 decades serving the Queen, Ross could not abide by such impertinence. And at the bottom, there was this well, does Prince Charles really know what his staff is doing? Does he really understand? Is he really aware of how the staff, how they speak about the Queen and her staff and her household? And so Malcolm Ross says, was the prince responsible for his household undercurrents? He is not a fool, said the veteran courtier. He was more than aware of what was going on. And there was a lot more. In the end, Malcolm Ross was so disgusted at what was happening in the in Prince Charles's household, partly, about the way that they spoke about and treated the Queen and her household. He was like, he realized pretty quickly that this is not the place he should be. And he basically wanted to quit. So they ended up firing him because it was just not a good fit. He just would not buy into the culture that was over at Prince Charles when he was this was all when he was at St. James Palace. And so for my thing, when I read that and just seeing the different ways in which King Charles, the Queen says, this is my wish, Charles is like, I don't know that I want to do that, and does exactly the same. And again, we saw the same thing what happens with when the Queen says, literally, she put it in writing on their wedding day. Buckingham Palace announced the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh and Prince of Wales, Prince Charles at the time, have also agreed that Prince Edward should be given the Dukedom of Edinburgh in due course when the present title held now by Prince Philip eventually reverts to the crown. Well, Prince Philip is dead and it has reverted to the crown, meaning Prince Charles have that title. He has been king since last September. Edward still don't have that. I mean, again, they put it out. They put it in writing. They put out the statement that it is the king, it is the king, the Queen, Prince Philip at the time, and Prince Charles. It was agreed that that's what the deal was supposed to be. And if you read at the bottom, it says, but those close to Prince Charles 72 says, his thinking have shifted, and he is reassessing his plan for the future. A source who knows Charles said, the prince is the Duke of Edinburgh as it stands, and it's up to him what happens to the title. It will not go to Edward. Another source close to the prince said, Edinburgh won't go to them, which is the Sussexes, as far as the prince is concerned. And that's the thing. The Queen said, this is who I want. In Sally Bedell, she wrote another book. Oh, I'm sorry, this was actually the same book. She even talked about Sophie and Edward. Sophie had great warmth and practicality. The couple earned the Queen's respect, conscientiously doing their duty without calling attention to themselves. She let it be known that on the death of her husband, Edward should be honored with the Duke of Edinburgh title. Again, letting it be known. And Charles's response, the Prince of Wales does not plan to give Earl of Wessex, their late father, Duke of Edinburgh's title when he becomes king. And he is now king. He hasn't given them. Some people are like, oh, he's going to do it at the coronation, whenever. Don't hold your breath if he's going to do it. Maybe he will, maybe not, but don't hold your breath. Again, if the kind of respect that they're trying to hold Harry to, Harry respects the Queen. He's probably one of the only people in that family that really, truly respected the Queen. Whatever the Queen said, Harry would do it, to the point where if she had said that he couldn't marry Meghan, even in Spare, when he had to ask her, it would have given Harry pause. He's like, do I want to disrespect my grandmother? That would have given, if she had said no, that would have been a cost for Harry to count, because he couldn't imagine not respecting her. That doesn't go for Charles and William, So it's very interesting to me that they're trying to Harry attacked the Queen. He's not respect the Queen yet. The people that don't respect the Queen are the ones that don't carry out her wishes. When she literally said, she put it in writing, she put it there, they don't carry it out. At the beginning, we talked about how Charles' work, especially with Camilla, how they've used, how they literally lied to the public, and with this plan of by this time, now she's going to be queen. But this is where it started in 2000. The Prince of Wales has issued a strong rebuttal to rumors he is planning to marry Camilla Parker Bowles. A strongly worded letter to the Press Complaint Commission, written on behalf of the Prince Vice Private Secretary, Stephen Lamport, makes an official complaint about the newspaper report and alleged he was exploring a possibility of marrying Camilla in secret discussions with the Church of Scotland. So it started in 2000, where they literally did a complaint to the Press Commission that the idea that he was going to marry Camilla, And then by 2005, that changed. And so this article from February recounts both of them. He's like, after the Queen, the King and the Queen consort married in 2005, Buckingham Palace said that she would be known as HR's Princess Consort after Charles acceded to the throne. So this is where it started. It started first where, oh, I'm not marrying her, because that's what, Harry and William were like, don't marry her. So that was where, then 5 years later, it's like, okay, I'm marrying her, but she's all going to be the princess consort. And that's what it's going to be. She's not going to be queen. She's going to be princess consort. Last year, so by the time last year, the Queen just be, in February last year, February 5th to be exact, when they were all planning for the Jubilee, the Queen literally put out this letter, which I will always believe that she would, Charles and Camilla had a lot to play a part in the Queen writing this, because maybe there was the deal about taking care of Andrew for her to give her consent to Camilla being this. But last year, the Queen let it be known. She put it in writing. Yeah, at least, they said she did. And it says, when in the fullness of time, my son Charles becomes king, I know you will give him and his wife Camilla the same support that you have given me. And it is my sincere wish that when the time comes, Camilla will be known as Queen Consort as she continues her loyal service. Again, this is the Queen's wish, that she will be Queen Consort. That is what she said. So we go from Princess Consort, now we are Queen Consort. And by a couple of days ago, this is where we are. Again, that same article, after the Queen married in 2005, Buckingham Palace said she would be known as HRH Princess Consort after Charles acceded to the throne. That was amended during the Platinum Jubilee when the Queen decreed that Camilla should be called Queen Consort instead. Her late Majesty wrote, it is my sincere wish that when the time comes, Camilla would be known as Queen Consort and as she continues a loyal service. So where are we now? Look at the headline. Camilla would be known as Queen after the coronation, as the consort title is cumbersome. And oh, by the way, at the bottom, royal insiders claim the public changing view of Camilla as has enabled a further final change. Again, the Queen said one thing, and what does Charles do? I don't respect you. I don't respect what you want. I am going to change it. Because why? You're dead. There's nothing you can say. And my people in the press don't even write about you anyway. They don't care. They claim to care. They don't care. Now it's all Queen Camilla. And again, it's, goes back again with how they groom their audience. They start off lying, and then they start dropping things. Oh, she's just going to be the princess consort. Nothing. She's not going to be queen at all. And then all of a sudden it's, oh no, she's going to be queen consort. Okay, it's going to be queen consort. It's going to be queen consort until finally it's like, okay, that consort title. Yes, I don't care what the Queen said. That consort title is a bit cumbersome. She'll just be simply known as queen. And it's like, wow. Again, it's the same thing they do. They groom their public until there was a time, if they had dropped it from the beginning that Camilla is going to be queen, which was the goal from the beginning, they were afraid of the outrage. And so they groom and buy their time until they can drop it on the public at a point where they know there will be no outrage. And you cannot find any outrage about Camilla being queen. Now they have groomed their public to the point where nobody really cares. Of course, there are a few Diana fans who are like, we will not, but, the loud voices in the UK don't care. All the press is now Queen Camilla. And that's what they want. It's the same thing they're doing to Andrew. The same thing. The absolute same thing. So, again, don't be surprised when Andrew starts doing royal engagements. Don't be surprised. Unbelievable. But anyways, and not only that, as we saw recently, there was this, at least Buckingham Palace is saying it's not true, whatever. But we saw recently, Charles and, Camilla's friends in their tabloids were reporting that Camilla's kids are grandkids at least, are going to have prominent roles. prominent roles in their coronation that nobody asked for. And are we shocked? No, not shocked at all. But now we're hearing that there's apparently another secret weapon. And Tom Parker Bowles is apparently the new secret weapon. Of course, he's going to be the secret weapon, because where does Tom Parker Bowles? He's a food critic, and among many, he works. I guess he does articles in different outlets, like Esquire and stuff like that. One of the outlets that he works for prominently is the Mail on Sunday, who Camilla and Charles is besties. That's where their private secretary is from. The Mail on Sunday, Tobin Andrade. So of course he's there. I mean, I would be surprised even he's not. That's always been their secret weapon. Why? He has an inside at the Mail on Sunday. Yes, the same Mail on Sunday that posted Meghan's private letter, the same Mail on Sunday that she sued and won over, the same Mail on Sunday that is trying to destroy her life. That's the same Mail on Sunday that is the sister paper of the Daily Mail that do everything in their power to destroy King Charles's son, Prince Harry. Yeah, the same one. That's where Camilla's son works. That's where he works. And so I think it was somebody put it in the post that I should do an episode on Tom Parker Bowles. I will. I certainly will, because I remember Tom Parker Bowles and Camilla when someone, I think he was the one that someone had accused of drugs, I think selling drugs or something like that. And then the person's family brought it up to them, and then Camilla was not happy. And then she went and did this smear campaign against the people's children that was completely untrue, that ruined their relationship with Prince Charles. And so Camilla is no joke. She is no joke. When Princess Diana referred to her in terms of an animal, she was not kidding. She was not kidding. And so yes, Camilla. So I mean, don't be surprised when you hear her family, like Tom Parker Bowles, would be the Duke or get some prominent role within the monarchy. Don't be surprised, because that's where we are. That's why they are kicking and pushing Harry out and doing everything in their power to get him out. They need someone like him who worked for a tabloid that can spin what they do and hide what they do. They can't use Harry anymore because Harry wouldn't play their game. They need people who would play the game, that will help them to conceal what they do. And what a perfect person. And he already works at the Daily Mail. So there you go. Unbelievable. And also there's this. There's a whole bunch of this going around, and I don't know again how true this is. All of these celebrities have turned down the working at the palace. And so singing for the coronation. They apparently have been invited to sing for the coronation, and they have turned them down. And so I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard these specific artists say it for themselves, and this is only what's reported in the press. So who knows how true all of this is? But there's this parody going around on Twitter that all of these people saying no to the coronation, I think not all of them, is true. But it's just very interesting that apparently all of these people are busy. So there's this long running list on Twitter of people that they claim have turned them down from singing at the coronation. So we will see how true that is, but it's very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to jump in the chat for a bit before we move on to more pleasant things. Shady Shannon says, allegedly, I should say, Shady Shannon says, I thought Eugenie lived at Frogmore Cottage. They split time between, well, if the key was now offered to her father, I guess not anymore, but if they used to split time between the UK and Portugal. So I don't know. Reporting that Eugenie is looking for a place in the US, in LA. So who knows if that is true? That again, I don't know. Take all of that with a grain of salt. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I don't know. So don't know what happened to that. So Let's see. Marilyn says these people have no shame and are so predictable. That is very true. They have no shame. They have no self-awareness. They have no shame. So yeah. Let's see. Anne Louis says it seems we now know who is the reliable source for the Daily Mail. Well, I mean, hello. And Camilla, she is best friends with with the Daily Mail and with the Daily Mail owner. So all of them. Even Charles is the same as well. I mean, he's written for the Daily Mail as well. So yeah, it's just Clarissa says karma is coming for them. Oh, you know it. You know it. Karma is definitely coming. Let's see. Sonia says it's been reported that Prince Charles has evicted his brother Andrew from his home and also Harry and Meghan from Frogmore Cottage. It is stated that Andrew will now live at Frogmore. All of those allegedly, as we were talking about, definitely all alleged. Again, the Sussexes have not spoken about it, so we don't know if they had given it up. If we don't know the whole, at least I took from Omid Scobie as opposed to what was written in the tabloid. But someone, again, the palace is known to brief lies. So according to what was briefed to Scobie and others, this is what they're saying. And so who knows if, I'm sure that story is more involved. So, but again, I'm sure Harry and Meghan are not going to respond to it at all. And my thing is, look, it is a good thing. It is a blessing. Take that and run. So there. Patricia says that Bishop better pray before he starts pouring oil on those people. I'm telling you, because karma might just end up with him too. You blessing these people. I'm like, yes, family. I can't even call it. I mean, it's like you can't even call them family. You just can't, because it's like it just sort of it muddies that word. It makes it like just gross. It grosses up that word, and I can't call them family because they're not. Let's see. Nina Snow says, look at how Tom is holding his hand in the picture. Practically royalty. How he's holding it. Oh, let me look at the picture again. Let's see. Let's see. How he's holding. Oh, wait. Let's see. How is he holding? Oh, well, there you go. Practically royalty. I guess. I guess that's how royals hold their hands. There you go. Well, his mama is now Queen Camilla. So there you go. Unbelievable. So, look out for Camilla and her grandchildren being prominent roles, having prominent roles. Apparently, I don't know if any of that is true. Again, it's very funny because I was reading Peter Hunt is like, he posted a link to the article, and then he, at the end of the article, that somebody at the palace briefed Roy Andika, I think is one who wrote that article for the Times. And Peter Hunt was like, Harry would have a wry smile about this article because you have a whole article that was obviously briefed to her by somebody in the palace. And at the end of it, it says Buckingham Palace was contacted and has no response or some nonsense like that. Or Buckingham Palace declined to comment. After you've read a whole article of things that they said, it's like Buckingham Palace declined to comment after commenting for the whole article. So he's like, Harry would be entitled to a wry smile because, again, they're just basically confirming everything he said. Claire Kane. Hello, Claire Kane. How are you? Wow. Thank you for being here. I love it's so funny. I love your accent. I love your voice. Love listening to your show. Claire says, there's a reason people like Angela Levin openly attack Harry and Meghan. She knows that Camilla and Charles are okay with it. People love to blame Camilla, but Charles has failed Harry as a father. Oh my goodness. In so many ways. It's so correct. I couldn't have said this better. Yeah, exactly. And of course, Angela Levin recently wrote a book about Camilla that's basically you could probably find for like a penny at the, discount store because it bombed basically. And yeah, all of them, I mean, everyone in the British press, they know they can attack as much as they want. Harry is fair game to them and has been pretty much his whole life, especially now. They know that nobody would respond. I mean, gosh, look at what Jeremy Clarkson did, and nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah, it just Charles has failed as I can't even call this man a father. He's a sperm donor. That's the tag on Meghan's father is that he's a sperm donor, and that's exactly what Charles is. I cannot call him a father because he's not. He has not been one. This has been disgusting. You have 400 pages of a book that shows you in so many ways he has not been. And I even thought, like, even before this whole mess happened, even any kind of generosity that Harry could have towards his father to make him want to go to the coronation. And I was rereading for like the 50 millionth time, or not reading, but listening to Spare. And Harry talking about when he was getting married, and how Charles had them over and he helped them pick out the music. Like, he had this whole concert and they were listening to the music and he was so into it and so excited, sharing their music and helping them pick out music for the wedding and all of that stuff. And Meghan, and I was actually rewatching last night, Meghan talking about, how Charles stepped in when her father, obviously Thomas Markle pulled his nonsense and didn't show up, and how Charles is, how much it meant to her that he stepped up and walked her, at least halfway down the aisle and all of that, and how appreciative she was of that and how much it meant to her. And so for me, as I thought about the coronation, and the only reason that I was thinking that would help, they would think, well, okay, Charles doesn't deserve me to be there. But in that one moment where, it meant so much to us, he stepped up as a quote unquote father. He stepped up when Meghan's dad, pulled his nonsense. And so I was thinking, well, in the most generous way, even though he doesn't deserve it, that could be the reason why, if Harry and Meghan were choosing to go to this coronation, no matter what has happened before, that may be the thing where they could feel like, okay, you know what, he stepped up for us in that moment. So, okay, maybe this is, apparently the biggest moment of his life. Maybe we'll go just because of that. And then you pull some of this like that today, and all that thinking went out. And I was like, no, just don't. Stay home. Because, I mean, even that moment where he was even nice to Daria. I mean, and of course, you look back and you see the bigger picture of that whole wedding stuff. A lot of that was that so that the leaders of the Commonwealth would, really think like, oh yeah, we're embracing this biracial woman. And yes, I want to be the next head of the Commonwealth. So I want to look good. So I do that. But so that is all true. That is all part of that whole mess. But for me, I was thinking, if the Sussexes wanted to be generous, they could use this as a way, like, okay, you know what? In spite of what he's done, this is his biggest moment. I'm going to go because he was there for us in this moment. And so then they come and pull this stuff. And now I'm like, you know what? He's not worth it. He is just not worth it. I go back to my original, stay home with your son. And, because why bother? Literally, why bother? So anyways, let's see what else I got. But thank you, Claire Kane. Great comment. Let's see what else I got. Something much more inspiring. And we can get away from the nonsense of the royal family. Invictus Games, yes, Invictus Dusseldorf. Today is World Wheelchair Day. I didn't know that. So for International World Wheelchair Day, wheelchairs are an amazing tool that enable mobility to those who otherwise have a harder time to get around. Keep wheelchairs in mind when designing a space. Table height, ramps, and wide path go a long way to make life better for everyone. And Invictus Foundation, they tweeted, "Here's to International Wheelchair Day. If you've been to the games, you know how amazing it is to watch the wheelchair basketball and the wheelchair rugby. Yes, 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 it is absolutely amazing. Wheelchair basketball is one of my favorite, and sitting volleyball. Those two my faves. If you don't know, well, then you can check out the games in September. Or you can also go to YouTube and get highlights from The Hague, the games at The Hague or the other games for wheelchair basketball. It's amazing. And yesterday, I would actually talk about wheelchair before I even knew that it was wheelchair. It was International Wheelchair Day. I was watching wheelchair tennis, and I think it was from the Australian Open, I want to say. It was amazing. It was so exciting. And they have, instead, like how when you play tennis, you get one bounce, but wheelchair tennis, I think you get two bounces. And they were like hitting some amazing shots. It was just like wheelchair tennis. If you have not watched it, watch it. It is awesome. Those guys are awesome. So highly recommended. YouTube. That's why I just happened upon it. I didn't even realize it was International Wheelchair Day. So it is awesome what they can do in those chairs. And again, perfect place to see it is Invictus, or even the other games as well that have wheelchair sports. So absolutely, absolutely amazing. So anyways, that's all I got on that. So I'm going to stay in the chat for a little bit and before we end and see what you guys are saying. So I'm going to start from the bottom. Angela Thomas says, I believe Charles and Wills are behind Thomas Sr. and everything Charles did for H&M was for PR. Yes, 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 and yes. I believe it too. It just, and if they weren't behind Thomas and Markle, again, I have no evidence for that at all. But if they weren't, they certainly didn't put up anything to help and to protect Harry and Meghan from it. They just sort of like left them. It's like, it's your deal. You deal with it. You go to Mexico, no matter how much it's, could endanger your life. You go and fix it. So yeah. Let's see. Root Lopez says, love to see the route lined with people wearing Diana masks. I hadn't thought of that, but that would be very interesting. I know part of the Republic group said that they're going to be doing a big protest, though. Who knows what doing some stunts, whatever those stunts are. The last time they did stunts were these big billboard, just pointing out the hypocrisy of William and Charles, that these huge billboards all over the place, especially at, I think it was COP 25 or 26, whatever it was, in Scotland a couple of years ago. So they did all these stunt stuff. So expect that. But that would be interesting. People wearing Princess Diana masks. Ooh, that would be very interesting. Let's see. Lana Williams says, I'd be so glad when I see the back of May 5th, the day before the coronation. Nothing when we will not, before the coro, nothing when we will not have to talk about, will they or won't they? And okay. So okay. Translating. Sorry. It took me a minute there. She basically can't wait for this whole coronation mess to be over. That will they, won't they, will they, won't they? Well, let's hope is that they won't. So it's like, don't bother inviting us. We're not coming. So, and I hope, even if Harry and Meghan are not, I hope they just completely ignore it and don't even respond. Don't respond. Don't say a word. Don't, it's like, whether they invite them or not, just don't respond. And just, whatever. And maybe I'm just petty like that, and that could just be me thinking that Harry and Meghan are not petty people. I am, so I would just completely ignore it, ignore all of it. I would not even respond to any of them. So there. Let's see. Anne Louise says Archie's birthday fund for those kids who were made orphans in the earthquakes. Oh, okay. I know that there's a fundraiser that's going to be happening. I saw it briefly. I didn't read through all of it. I think it was like a save the date. And so I will find it and bring it in. I'll probably post it in our community page. And so that way you can save the date. But again, I am not covering the coronation. I will not be talking about it. I will not be bringing any photos from it, whether Harry and Meghan go or not. I'm about Archie's birthday. That's it. Archie and Lily's birthdays. That's it. So no promotion from me. I'm not even going to be critical about anything because I'm just not going to be talking about them, period, at all. Let's see. Rosa said Charles wanted Meghan to go to Mexico so something could happen to her. I mean, it's like how just the idea that you would want someone to just this woman to go to like hello that is just I can't even just can't even. Cookies and Cream says we should never be surprised by anything Charles does. He pulled Harry's security, leaked the Sussexes location more than once, and refused to take Harry's call. He cares less about Lily and Archie. And sorry, Cookies and Cream, I don't refer to him as that, but it's look, if you don't get what your father is from the fact that the first time he pulled, well, the fact that he has not protected you, period, through your life and used you and then put your life in danger and pulled secure. I mean, if you don't get that, like, if you don't see who he is from that, then you're just not going to get it because, again, the heart does what it does. Let's hope the best for them. And again, whatever their choices, I will respect. They are grown people who can make the best choices for their lives. So I'm just going to put that out there. I will respect whatever choice they make for them, for themselves. I don't have to like it. They don't have to please me or anybody else with the choices that they make when it comes to their family. So whatever choices they make, I just don't have to cover it if they choose to go to the UK, which I will not be doing. I did the Jubilee because I understood it was for the Queen, and that's there because of their relationship. In spite of how I felt about the Queen, it was someone that, Harry, for him, she loved him, even though as I'm reading, I'm like, are you sure, Harry? But that's how he felt. And Meghan felt the same way. She felt loved by her. So again, we're on the outside, looking in. So, but I covered it then. I understand the complexities of that relationship, but this one, no, absolutely not. Let's see. Oh, you don't have to apologize, Andrea. Believe me, I have my autocorrect does nasty things to me all the time. And I have to go back all the time. It's like, that's not what I meant to type. Don't correct me. Let's see. Angela says, start preparing when you want to share on start preparing what you want to share on Twitter and Instagram for Archie's birthday. Also, some are replacing their profiles with pics of Diana. So yes, I guess people are very much not into Charles and Camilla. And again, if it's true, all these people are saying no, that would be interesting who ends up showing up for the or at least performing for the concert. Very interesting. Nina Snow says, I hope they don't push Harry too far again. If they do, he has another 400 pages. He sure does. And for me, that's most likely insurance. So, I don't think it's going to drop anytime soon, but that's definitely insurance. That 2 hours of Oprah interview that we never heard of, 2 hours or an hour and a half, whatever it is, of Oprah interview that we never heard of. That's all there. Insurance. Anne says, is Camilla's son called Tom Parker Bowles Jr.? I don't know, probably. I didn't look that much. I have not cared enough to look. Sorry. Maybe. But I will do an episode. Someone had asked about doing an episode of Tom Parker Bowles. So I will go and do a bit of research of him. I know about it, a little bit about his drug issues. So I will definitely go looking up a bit about him. Let's see. And Annie says it's funny that the Crown will not be able to cast Harry and Meghan because of their docuseries and Spare. Exactly. And you know what? What's really cool too? Someone pointed out that nobody in the Crown. I think this last Emmy Awards, the Crown wasn't nominated for anything, and I don't know maybe because of when it was. I don't know. Was it eligible for an Emmy nomination? Was it eligible for an Emmy nomination for this? I don't really know, but it's really wild that this is probably the first year that nobody, if it was, it's probably the first year nobody in that cast got nominated for anything. And if that's the case, I am so happy because it sucked that so much that I can't even bring myself to go look at the rest of it. It was just so irritating. And, everyone know like they basically caved to the palace and they did not stick to what the truth is. And so, yeah, and if that's the case, good for them. And no, they cannot go add Harry and Meghan because we already know the story. Harry and Meghan already told their story. So what else they're gonna add? So, which I am so happy about. Karen Werner says Tom is getting paid for behaving himself and allowing Charles to have his wife. Oh, you mean Tom Sr.? I know Tom's, is it Tom Parker Bowles? Her former husband who, no, I think his name was Andrew Parker Bowles, wasn't it? Andrew Parker Bowles was Camilla's husband. So I guess Tom is not a junior. So he actually did an engagement for Camilla when she supposedly couldn't go to a funeral. He stepped in and went to a funeral for her. And it was just like interesting, very interesting. Oh, Connie Balmer, new member. Oh, Connie, wait a minute. You were a member before. So welcome again, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much. Always supporting. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate it. I'm happy that you are with the 2 Cents crew, Miss Connie Balmer. Thank you. Let's see, a few more. And I think you're it today. I'm constantly dropping on you. It says Fergie bought a house from the sale of their Swiss villa. Maybe she got information about what happened to the Royal Lodge. Who knows? Was that hers or was that Andrew's? And I thought the Queen took over the payment of that because they defaulted on it or something and they were being sued. So was that theirs to sell? I mean, if the reports were correct, I thought Andrew couldn't pay for it, and then the Queen ended up paying his debt. So I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. Annie says Dr. Shola mentioned it in her tweet. If you're talking about the Frogmore, I did see a tweet from Dr. Shola really going after Charles because of his just pettiness and nastiness because of it. So we shall see if he gets. I mean, and with stuff like this, when Charles get enough bad press for it, they're gonna change the narrative to no, it's not. Whatever. It's so expect that. It's just anything but bad press for Charles. Anything but bad press. Let's see. Couple more before we end. Allegedly Shady Shannon says, Andrew better start leaking some stories to keep Chucky in line. Well, one of the reasons, again, like I said, if you can accept Charles, you'll be able to accept Andrew because they're one and the same. Andrew knows where the bodies are buried, so they can't do anything. They're not, people say, oh, they're protecting Andrew. They're not. They're not protecting Andrew. They're protecting themselves because Andrew knows what's up. So and they have to take care of it. They don't have a choice. They have to take care of Andrew, because if they don't, then there will be some very well placed leaks about things about Charles. And always wanted to know where all of those leaks about cash for access, cash for honors, and all that stuff. Wonder where that actually came from. Who leaked that stuff? I wonder. Oh, I wonder. So, anyways, Allegedly, Shannon says, so Fergie's out on the streets too? No, Fergie apparently just purchased I think they said $4 million home. No. Again, where did Fergie get $4 million for a house? Who knows? Who knows? There was some talk that maybe it's for the Queen, because the Queen wanted to take care of her corgi, so she left that for Fergie. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows where the royal family gets all their money? Very interesting. But again, I am not going to go after Fergie for her I'm not even going to investigate it. I'm saying, you know what, girl, keep your £4 million or whatever it is, because again, when she divorced Andrew, she got next to nothing. So good for her, wherever she got it. I mean, as long as it's not illegal. As long as it's not illegal, good for her that she gets something, because she didn't get anything. Let's see. A couple more before we end. Carolyn Spencer said, could these be Charles' biological children and grandchildren? That's why he shows them so much favoritism? Huh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what the kids look like. I have no idea. But would it be shocking to me? No, none of this would be shocking at all. Because he does apparently have a great relationship with them. If you even read, I think it was Scobie's article, the one that we looked at, the link would be in the show notes, but part of that says that he's had enough with Harry, and he's looking, his attention is elsewhere. And so, if he's talking in terms of relationship, his elsewhere, I would assume, would be Camilla Parker Bowles and grandkids and William's grandkids. Would I be shocked if they were his? And no, none of this stuff with him and Camilla will shock me at all. Because again, she was having an affair with him while married, so will it shock me? No, none of it shocks me at all. And Andrew Parker and the Bowles know that they were doing it, and they didn't do anything. So there you go. I think he was also cheating as well. So it was a whole incestuous group. And so, no, I mean, would it shock me if they are also parents to that guy in Australia, wherever he is? No, it wouldn't shock me either. Nothing about those things would shock me. I've never seen you here before. Lefin Gastron Mayor 976. Wow, this is a mouthful. Well, welcome. I've never seen you here before, so welcome. I think Harry I think Harry will tell the rest of the story, the 400 pages pending, at some point, or maybe it'll be a movie script. Maybe if he ever decides to sell it, make a movie out of it, maybe that will be part of a movie script. Who knows? I would watch it. I'm sure a lot of people would watch the film. So yeah, and that would be a Archwell production. So there you go. Who knows? Let's see. Sharon Maitland, hi Sharon. Sharon says, I think Charles is thinking about evicting Harry and Meghan, but putting it out there to see how the public reacts. Yeah, it's very much, very much a lot of the things they do is how the public and the press reacts. And it's so wild that your whole life is, dependent on how other people respond. And it's just like, goodness, grievances. It's like, it's all, if it's popular, it's all, and if it's not, then you have to try to figure out a way to throw somebody under a bus to make them not be mad at you. And it's just, how do you live like that? I don't know how you live like that. So Karen Warner, hello, Karen says, There's a lot that is going to happen and said by now on May 6th about Prince Harry and Meghan and Princess Meghan, because the palace is seeking attention and relevancy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The more controversy they can stir up, because people are not excited about this coronation. They don't care. And so right now it's, well, let's stir up drama. Let's do drama so people would focus on it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. Let's see. Serengeti. Hello, Serengeti. Oh, very cool. I like this. Serengeti says Charles still thinks that Harry is not his son. According to Spare, he didn't joke about it. He didn't make a joke, quote unquote, and Harry obviously didn't find it funny, but he had not. He never said he wasn't, but for me, I look on the way how he's behaved in a lot of ways, and he behaves like, but again, you think of Meghan's father, who is her father and never, obviously a father, and he behaves just as awful. So, who knows? Honestly, it's like, if he's not, Harry's not going to lose anything. And if he is, Harry definitely is, because again, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have his love. And that's very clear. That's very, very, very clear. Let's see. Dolores says, article entitled King Can't Find Anyone to Perform at His Upcoming Coronation, and it's funny, Zach. I didn't read. Oh, there's an okay, well, there you go. People are writing about he can't find anyone. He can't find anyone to, again, I'm sure somebody will show up. Apparently they said they had Lionel Richie. So maybe it's just going to be Lionel. Lionel's going to have a whole set. Oh, there you go. We'll be all, I guess they will all be dancing on the ceiling of, Windsor Castle. So there you go. Let's see. TT Carter says H&M moved out during the Jubilee. Well, I know they moved a lot of stuff. So did they completely move out? Don't know. So there you go. Because we know they moved a lot of stuff out of there. So again, maybe just the basic stuff. So when they go, they'll have, a bed and a couch or whatever. But yeah, very interesting. Unbelievable. Hockey Mask 2 says, hello, pedal mods and squatties. Responding to Karen Warner, it's already been put out in plain sight with Camilla's daughter that is being touted as William and Harry's secret sister. Okay. Very interesting. Never didn't hear that. I mean, I've always known that they had like a stepsister, but I didn't know that. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Lorna says, Prince Harry's DNA goes back to Henry VIII and another redhead. Princess Diana's family, I think, has red hair, I think. So I think apparently the Spencers have red hair. So that could be it as well. Again, I'm not an expert in these things, so I'm just going to say. Let's see. Let's see one more before we end. Sunny B says Charles is deflecting the narrative from Silky Chicken because he is under fire from all the poor decisions coming out of the palace while Charles is quiet. Okay. I mean, again, Charles is like, whenever he makes these decisions, he always tries to hide. He always will throw someone under the bus to hide from it. He's a man that has never, ever taken responsibility for his poor choices in life. He always will find someone to throw under the bus. And again, we've seen him throw even baby Archie, big boy Archie, and baby Lily under a bus to distract from the fact that he took money from Bin Laden's family and also took, millions in euros in cash in a bag in a suitcase. He threw babies under a bus to cover himself. So there's not much else. There's not much lower you can go than that. So there you go. So anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the last hour, 2 hours. Oh my gosh, almost 2 hours. Thank you so much. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Click the notification bell so we can, so you can know when we drop a video. Please, all 668 of our favorite people who are live right now, please go ahead and click the like button and also share our podcast. Help us build our platform. That would be most appreciated. And also, please go ahead and join if you're able to join our channel. So thank you so much, and happy to have Connie back as a Two Sons crew member. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you for hanging out with me. Thank you to our awesome moderators. I know Lydia was here and then she had to run off. So maybe Lydia will catch the replay and we'll see her next time. Thank you, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for the amazing work you do to make sure our platform is safe and fun and just free of trolls. I appreciate it. Thank you to our Two Cents crew, all of our Two Cents crew members who support the channel financially on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. Again, you don't have to do it, but you do out of the kindness of your heart, and I appreciate it. And also to our Go So supporters who support us, as you see sometimes in the chats, whether it's super thanks, super chats, super stickers, and also PayPal, Cash App, merchandise, all the ways you support us. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I will see you tomorrow, most likely. Yep, tomorrow. And have a fantastic day. Please pray for our faves. They need our prayers as they continue to stay under a tree in Montecito, just doing what they do. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.